So, this is how we're gonna start. When I say star mpaka star, you reply with star. Come on, let's go. Star mpaka star. Star mpaka star. Ati juzi niliona Manche wakisupport Harambee. Ati dem alikuwa amevaa hip na juu amedunga maji. Nikamcheki Silve. Nikamshow apige da kwa nyumba ya pa. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Agnes Kola. I am a film TV first assistant director. I'm also a production manager. And I think by this time, I can also add another title. I am a theater director. And the reason why we're doing all this, it's because I just want to unpack my experience as a first-time theater director. And so this is going to be a moment of truth, a moment of vulnerability, and just a moment of also learning and unlearning. So walk this journey with me. Kola is a daughter. Kola is a niece, a sister, cousin, a friend. Professionally, Kola is a first assistant director when it comes to film and TV, and even theater and productions manager. Just recently, I directed my first ever theater show. Yeah, and honestly speaking, it's something I'm still trying to unravel. Munasikiaga mkienda concert venye mnasema bado niko na hiyo blues, you know. I think I still have followers blues. I still feel, oh my God, that happened. And I'm coming from a place of fear. I had a lot of fear at the beginning. And I really thank God and the production itself, led by Uni Mwabe, Joy, Gloria. They really held my hands towards this journey. First of all, I have been a theater kid ever since I was little. I've born and bred in Nakuru. So at Hekima Nursery School, I still remember very vividly doing the creative movement dance during the drama time. Twende tukaimbe na kipepeo wai kipepeo and remember the attires that we used to have when we were kids: yellow t-shirt, white shorts, and stockings. And then after that, and then I don't know if you remember how I'm gonna use the word remember a lot, because now here we're gonna remember things. Nursery school used to have baby class, middle class, and then top class. Mimi sikuenda middle. Mama linipeleka baby and then top. I need to ask hapa katikati. And then I remember in primary school, I went to Flamingo Primary. My mom was a teacher there. And during the music festival, I was the only class 3 kid in a lineup of upper classes students. My brother was in class 7. He was doing a set piece as well. And also I remember, we're going to count the many times I've said remember. I remember during that year, nationals happened in Narok. And we were doing a folk song. And the person who was teaching us the folk song was my aunt, who was also a teacher there, called Mrs. Opio. Funny enough, I still remember the song. Taya wodi nyarombe nyarombo maler kalo, oh yesu kalo biune taya. So we used to have those tulejos, attire, and a cross, a white cross. Sa tulikuwa tu tunadance hapo. Yawa babi winja dolo woni rombe, lwen mari mimi ya moromotelo, yawa ngono mari, akwa imondi med, adera monagiteko. It was so fun. Then after that, my mom was like, Wewe, I'm moving school. So I'm leaving Flamingo, then I went to St. Mary's. And I feel in St. Mary's, this is where my talent was really bred. And along the way, Lord help me not to have selective amnesia. I'm going to name so many people who really held my hands along the way. So I went to St. Mary's in class 5. And I remember during games time, I had the drums outside. Kustep hivi tu nje ninaona watu wana dance. So my friends were already in St. Mary's. Abigail, Fanice, Angela. These are people I have grown with at home, but we were in different schools. But now we were in the same school. That's where I met Madam Lillian, Teacher Tabitha, and also Teacher Jacqueline and Dennis Omariba, and as well as our class teacher, Mrs. Ongenge, who really played a very vital role in all of us growing. So, we never used to do plays. First term, instead of us doing a play, we did a dramatized dance. And then second term, we did Dodo for the music festival. So I remember when I joined, they had already casted for choral verse, they already casted for solo verse, for the narration. The only place that there was a position somewhere was the dramatized dance. And even though I was not in this projects, this whatever that they already casted, funny enough, I still remember the choral verse. Their choral verse that they did, it started with cry. So something with choral verse, it has 3 personas. So the first persona, so they were talking about deforestation. So we had the first persona who was the money bag, the second persona was the mom, and then there's the child. And so the play started with empty stomachs we come, to you our lords we come. And for those who grew doing choral verse, you know, got to number facial expression. So it used to be, with empty stomachs we come, to you our lords we come, in quench to quest our zest. And then the children will say, the mothers, but the trees doom in doom, no longer blossoming and blooming. The few left for our gifts, for prosperity to our prosperity, to our children, and children. We can't cut them down. So that was the choral verse. And then they had narrative. It was done by a girl called Flo. She did it so well. I remember her intro was, the storytellers are back with a bang, from day that unfolded the luggage and unveiled the chonga viazi. Now unleashed another brand new story, a story that will make some of you to be very happy. And funny enough, I felt and I still feel narrative had cartoon in it. So for me, I was in the dramatized dance the first term. So we did Bor Todin Ula Mangoa Trasta Bendu Sukom. And remember that year we went to Eldoret. We did so well. So we used to have the district level, and then we have the provincial, and then the national. So in class 6, the same drill happened. First term, dramatized dance. Second term, we did the dodo. So this is where I'm going to throw my mother under the bus. Mom, wherever you are, just know I'm very sorry, but I love you so much. My mother hated me being in drama. Alikuwa anasema, una waste time. You need to sit down with your books. And you know, if your mother is a teacher, you know how it's always, you have to sit down with your books. So I remember this one time we were supposed to go to Eldoret for provincial levels. And mom was like, you're not going anywhere. Hey, watu walikuwa wamepaniki, hata mimi nilikuwa nimepaniki kidogo. But later on, akakubali. But my dad, Mr. Kola, Mr. Kola always loved seeing me performing. I'm that kid who used to perform in family events and all. So the same drill happened. We did a lot of verses from Dennis Omariba. I remember one of the verses that we did for the music festival was Gonjera. So in English, it's called a choral verse. In Swahili, it's called Gonjera. So the Gonjera that we did was vimenisinya vitabu vimenichosha, vitabu sawa sulubu, ininyonyayo bashasha, elimu sio dhahabu, maisha kuyaboresha, vitabu natia tanzi, nenda kufanya riadha. So it's about this kid who was so much into athletics, and the mom was like, you need to read fast. So at the end of the structure of any choral verse or gonjera, so there's the intro, there's the conflict, and then there's the resolution. So for the resolution was like, okay, fine, I'll see how I'm gonna balance both. In class 7, now something beautiful happened. In class 7, still at St. Mary's Girls, I was the soloist of Dodo Dance. My God. Yes. I was the soloist. I didn't see it happening, but it happened. Also, by that time, I was in boarding school in the same school. It was both day and boarding. So we used to really rehearse. Madam Lillian, Madam Tabitha, Madam Jacqueline, Dennis Omariba. If you ever hear me speak, just know my heart is really full because of you guys. So for the Dodo Dance, in Nakuru, we used to go to a place called Menengai Social Hall. That's where we could start our competition going. So in class 7, I was the soloist for the Dodo Dance. I feel now I'm repeating myself, but let's work with me. My friend Abigail, my sister friend Abigail, and Fanice and Orende were in the same line with me. So Abigail will start, St. Mary's Girls presents a Dodo Dance. This dance was performed by Luo women during happy occasions like this. Be entertained. Alafu mimi hapo niko na fly whisk na owalo. You know what owalo is? It's a sisal skirt. And I was just like, then remember our patrons were Miss Tabitha and Miss and Tisha Lillian. And so Nilili, and then we used to have this to box mrefu, unajua? Nitabi, tunde, owinjorego ni kaumbo, owinjorego ni kaumbo, wanginya lili, owinjorego ni kaumbo. So the climax of this song was now when our owalo we used to inua our walo with our behind. So the song was Anindo ni malo katugoe, Anindo ni malo tugoe nyangile, katugo nindo tugoe nyangile tugo. It used to be so nice. And then Mom was like, wewe, I need you to focus. Akanitoa St. Mary's Girls. Nikapelekwa Crisco Academy. Kwenda Crisco Academy pale ilikuwa ni masomo tupu. There was nothing like co-curriculum activities. They were like class 8, no co-curriculum activities for you. But also in St. Mary's Girls, Mrs. Ongenge, our class teacher, she could just write for us poetries to just perform. And one of the poetries that she wrote for us that I can still remember is called Chokora, and So You Say It's My Name. A name I hate to hear, a name I never deserve. Chokora, and So You Say It's My Name. So for me, I feel really St. Mary's made me realize who I am, what I wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. Then I went to high school. I passed. I went to high school. I went to Koru Girls. Now in Koru Girls, they always have something called the Educational Day. So Educational Day, they celebrate the Form 4's performances for the KCSE. So it's a whole occasion where Form 1s are being told they're the people to present an item. So remember, I have this strong background of theater from St. Mary's Girls. And remember the choral verse that we did of cry with empty stomachs we come. So in choral girls, I meet Triza, I meet Mary, I meet Linjoy, I meet Irene, I meet Naomi. Powerful girls when they start conversation. And I teach them the reflection. The choral verse was called Reflection, and we perform. And the next day, tukikuwa 2 games when we were playing, I meet Mr. Ogara. I think he was the teacher on duty. And then he called me. Form 1, you come here. I was like, what have I done? What are you doing in the field? Your place is on stage. Ebu kimbia penye drama club iko. And I went to drama club. Now going to drama club because it was already almost their second term. They'd already casted for everything. So for us, we're just spectating and seeing what they're doing. But now in Form 2, Madam Agnes Mosira came. Wait. And then Madam Agnes introduced us to Austin Simaro. Austin Simaro introduced us to Frederick Okumu. Frederick Okumu wrote for us a choral verse called Rangach. And Rangach was a powerful choral verse. And remember I said choral verse has three personas. So for what we were doing for the Rangach, it was about the recruitment for the KDF. So we have the police. I was the police. I was in the group of police people. And then Triza was in the group of watoto. And then akina Cheryl walikuwa mamadhi. Irene tulikuwa naye the same side. And it's how Rangach started. A Rangachka. And let me confess about something. So I've gone to a Nyanza school. All my life, I have studied in Rift Valley, Nakuru. Kijaluo kidogo inanifanya. It's doing me a lot of things. And now I go to a place where people are talking in Doluo. Alafu, tunaletewa a choral verse in Doluo. I just had to shika Triza's hand like this, and Triza really helped me with the diction, with how to say it. I know ni aibu kuisema hata mbele ya camera whatever I'm saying, but right now at least I'm better off kidogo with Luo. So it's how the verse used to start. E Rangachka nitie reber, e Rangachka nitie reler, kuonde duto majan, kendo boche rachar, ji duto rateng, kendo remo rakwar, wahero Rangach gi hera mabup, ok ne wadar, mwandu e iye bende ng'eny, ok ne walar, omiyo waduto warite gi teko marapar, mar kwerewa, manogore motho katar, Rangach, oyawnwa Rangach. Hapa katikati tumeletana juu, tumepiga masomersault. Unasikia kina Triza, because they are kids, tumewa frustrate as policemen, and the kina Triza were like, Ana all, gi yuak, gi ocho. And then remember what I told you about choral verse having the facial expression? Ana all, gi yuak, gi ocho, kendo ajon gibedo jakwecho, korowe adhia bed jakwecho, karangach udwalo kajam, something like that. And then the mothers will be like, nyathina tema, asijui amanyo nyaka kerich, because it all ilikuwa yo cho. And then towards the end, now sasa tumeelewana. Remember I told you about reconciliation in a choral verse. So hapo ndo sasa tulikuwa tunafanya showstopper. And I still remember it was jotendwa duto marito Rangach, wachungurutir e Rangach malich, nejidu toko da kacha, kocha, katanya kach, mondo nyithiwa madeher konywa e tijni mar kich, koda obed jamoko koda e nyathi kich, obiyo cham tiegruok mobago kabich e ich, ng'ama dekel wach marach mar mibadhi e Rangach, piyo wakae wabole odang'ech. Rangach abiro rito gimucha, Rangach adonjo koro kariembo gacha, Rangach abiro rito gimucha, Rangach adonjo koro kariembo gacha, Rangach ber kendo ler okawacha, Rangach orwake duto obera giraracha, Rangach wahero waduto kata chacha, guracha, nyaka onyancha. Rangach koro ade tacha, ka alamonya sacha, ineticha, yaupacha, yaulacha, medmucha, apong decha, cham lucha, something, chengna go ombucha, na watch awacha, Rangach, oyawnwa Rangach, yake F okumu, Santa. So F okumu is none other than Okush. And so Rangach was a very powerful play that we kept on doing it every year, because tulikuwa tunashindana na Agorosari by that time in Kisumu Day. So all the time for drama festival, we were always number 2, Agorosari number 1. Tumengangana tumefanya Rangach number 2. It used to really break us. Like, we really wanted to go to nationals to experience what gala really is. And the same team, the drama team, we could now do verses in the music festival. Funny enough, I never did Dodo in Koru Girls, but now something happened. So I think Form 3 there, my mom came for visiting. So ilipata nilishapigwa lecture home, nikaambiwa when you go back to school, you shouldn't be in drama. So this is now January tunaingia. Na ni first term. And you know what first term is? It's drama time. So mom comes for visiting day. It was like on a Friday. On a Saturday, sorry, and the first thing she asked me was, were you in drama? And I was like, hapana. So on Wednesday tulikuwa tumeshatoka competition, tulikuwa tumefanya competition already, and I remember also I used to do narratives. My narrative was written by Emmanuel Spohr, another person that I really love. He taught me how to narrate. The storytellers, nyef, 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 the language of the monkeys. That's how the introduction of the narrative started. And I did a tandem narration with Naomi Otieno. So a tandem narration is where two people are narrating at the same time. Mi nimeshambia madhe, kumbuka nimemwambia mimi si kwa drama. Then tunatembea hapo chini tukienda sasa field, tukae chini tukule kuku tufurahie. Kumbe one of the adjudicators is a guardian in our school, and she sees me and she's like, oh my God, is this your daughter? Hey madam, your daughter is gifted. I'm telling you, my mother looked at me ile ya tutaongea. Remember, I lied. I said I'm not in drama, So tukapita hiyo siku but nilipigwa msomo. But it's funny how even right now mom really knows how much I love this. So again, ever since primary school I have been in leadership. And this will come to play later on. Finished high school. We did so well, went to nationals in Meru, Nini, now for the music festival as we were doing the verses. And we used to direct ourselves. That's how we were passionate about this thing. Akina Triza, Akina Naomi, Akina Linjoy. And we used to do these things. Akina Monique. It used to be so powerful and so good. Akina Cheryl, Akina Wendy. I mean, as I talk, the names are just coming. Nikamaliza fourth form, nikapita. And then I remember telling my Uncle Jabs, that I want to do theater. Now that's how I really wanted to do theater. And I knew I wanted to do theater in Kenyatta University. But also in high school, there's somebody I'm forgetting called Kivo Baby. Kivo Baby wrote for us a very beautiful Luo verse for the music festival called Sigalagala Wangni Uchopo. And we were still talking about election. It was such a beautiful verse, very beautiful. So now you see, all my life, I've just been having people who are holding my hands. Me, I call it grace, by the way. I don't know how you call it, but for me, I call it grace. I finished my fourth form, passed, and then I talked to my Uncle Jabedo, and Uncle Jabedo says, because I was in Kenya Mass, nataka uingie Kenya Mass, and maybe you do film. And that's how I entered Kenya Mass. I did film. So Kenya Mass have this very powerful drama club called Powerhouse. Napatana na nani tena Powerhouse? Triza Oyuko. Yes, Triza Oyuko. And the first time we did, they always have something that now to welcome the first years called the mini festival. I became the best actress there. And the rest has been history. In 2016, I was best actress, best overall artist, best female artist, with also beautiful verses written by Marotso. But how can you talk about Powerhouse without talking about Msiani, who is the patron, Wycliffe Buhere? I salute you so much. Also for the cultural dances, we had trainers like Terence, we had Sydney. It was such a beautiful group to really have. Along the way also, in 2017, now I was in my last year at school, and Okush, remember Okush wrote for us Rangach? Nilimpata uko Kenya Mass. Akasema now Kola, because Nationals is going to Kisumu, I'm going to write for you a Luo solo verse called Lady Aago. Nikech and Lady Aago, Tektotar, Queen of Rumba. So I was talking about I was a musician, money ilikuwa imeisha, so I was just talking about the life of a musician. That year as well, I was on papers. I think I really enjoyed my time on stage, kabisa. So best overall artist, best female, best solo verse of the year 2016 was Lady Aago as well. And then now I was transitioning to now commercial theater. And I remember before even that, now the Powerhouse team, the group that we had, we performed at KNT, Parliament of Owls, written by Adipo Sidang. And it really opened my eyes to so many things, because now theater is different. Sisi tumezoea theater ya Jimbi. Hata nikiambia mtu kama Owusu is behind the camera, or Tule, who is here also as well, who did this beautiful lighting, nikiwambia Tule come, sisi tuko tumezoea Tule come, like it's a conversation. And now I'm learning, oh, it happens like this. And so I happened to have gone for Mbeki Mwalimu's show, Back to Basics, and I really loved what they were doing. Kidogo, mi nikamuinbox pale Facebook. Kambia nikaji explain, hi, my name is Agnes Kola, and Becky was so kind to me. Imagine she responded. And she told me come for auditions. I went for auditions, sikuchukuliwa. But Mimi, I don't take no's. That's another thing. I told Mbeki, can I just come and see what you guys are doing? And imagine for a whole year at Back to Basics, I was there helping with ironing and just learning. Okay, so pano kunenda hivi. And then I met a very awesome person, Daisy Temba. Thank you so much. You really held my hands while there. And the coming year, guess who was in the cast? I was in a play called The Debate, and I was playing Ingrid. Debate was written by none other than the superstar himself, Nick Ndeda. The cast was me, Wakio Mzenge, Gilbert Lukalia, Bilal Mwaura, Mary Mwikali. It was we were 5 of us, and the setting ilikuwa ni kama tuko kwa newsroom, and so that's what's called The Debate. And the fact that my family was there, they came. I remember Denise, one of my biggest inspiration, being in the audience shouting my name. Uncle Jabedo came, Auntie Rina came. It was so beautiful to just see my family there in the audience. My brother, who has never missed any of my show, Kevin Kola, came. Then after that, I was like, oh, this is cool. I saw a call for Subira New Musical. It was a collaboration between so many countries. And Subira opened my eyes in such a beautiful way. Because again, I've always dreamt of going to Broadway. Subira New Musical, I went for auditions. I was not taken. But later on, I got another call being told, congratulations. I'm like, yo, we're in the cast. And it had a star-studded cast as well. We had Charles Oda, Nice Githinji, Neville, Doita, Drew Mudure, Amelia, Sharon Babu. There were so many star-studded people. C-Bill in the cast, and Gilbert Lukalia as well. One thing Subira left me with hunger. I really now wanted to do musical theater. And one instant I'll never forget is during the last show. And I got an ovation. Not a standing ovation, but I got an ovation. And immediately left the stage, I got an ovation. It was so beautiful. Through that and that's how again I saw a call for Too Early for Birds. I sent in I sent it my clip for auditions. They said no, but again, I don't take no for answers. I asked them up kwa email, may I please come and just see what you guys are doing? And funny enough, that's how I got into Too Early for Birds. I started as an intern. I went to become a production assistant. I went and became a production manager. And we worked on the comeback with Ngatia. Ngatia really gave me the gist of being a director as well. After that, we did the Tomboya with Too Early for Birds. Now working with Mugambi. Mugambi is going to come and play out later on with followers. I'm going to explain. Seeing also Wanjikuma Uganga directing Badassery, and I was there again as an assistant director and production manager. A lot to learn from and a lot to check. And during this time, I met somebody who really held my hands and taught me a lot about production management, and that's none other than Queen Gadoni Kimuyu. Thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. And even we did Taji, we did Free Me by Taji & Co. Taji & Co, it's her company. And actually we are having a show in June. Please get your tickets. So my journey, I always feel there's a way God placed people along the way for me. because even there's a time I reached out to Shots from Africa, and I came in to help, and I got a role of Christabel at the Graveyard Queens, and I was acting with the legends, Mobika Igua, Carol Coach, Puff Daddy. I know, me, Mudhoni Gadesha. It was such a powerful time also to just sit and reflect. So for me, I think there's been a journey to where I am from and to where I'm going. And God has been leading the way and just putting the right people in those places. So yeah. Something beautiful also happened. I work at Village Productions, and when we were doing Subira, because it was a story about the coup that happened in 19 something there. Abel Mutua, Salimo, PR, my crew members, Katule, you were there as well. They wore, how do we call that, Nini? Combat. Just to come and watch me perform, Judy Nyawe. I'm telling you, hey, it's the love. It's the love for me. And so, me, I'm loved all the way. Last year, in December, I got a call from Uni. Uni is the CEO of Fifth Hall Productions, the production that did Followers. And Uni calls me. I've worked with Uni before at Too Early for Birds. And Uni calls me, and Uni's like, Kola, I have a show that is coming up. And so my head really ran too quick and too fast to just saying, Uni job your production management, I'm a production something. But Uni's telling me, Kola, I want you to direct Followers. Yo. Nilisikia tumbo inafanya maneno. And it's funny. One thing I learned about me saying yes to directing Followers, after 5 minutes or so after that call with Uni, I got another call from another director telling me, Kola, I want you to direct a series this year. And it's a project that we are almost beginning later in the year. And then I got another call again being told by Tony, Too Early for Birds, to direct something for Ford Foundation. And I was like, wow, sometimes it's like universe and God just waits for you to say, I'm ready, let's go. But sikuwa ready. Bado tu na feel tu vitu zinakuuma huku kwa tumbo. I said yes afraid, I said yes shaking, I said yes, I didn't know how to approach things. It's funny, I have worked with the directors, I've worked with them hand in hand in theater, but it felt at that point when you're being told you're gonna be the director, it felt like I was gonna be exposed as a fraud. That's how I felt. But thank God, Uni, oh my God, so much love for you, girl. Uni really believed in me. And the whole production as well, Joy, Gloria. We used to have our meeting and just talk. And we talk how we are feeling, how things are. And I remember this day we were at Uni's place, and I just asked them, why did you choose me to be the director? And Uni said, because I trust you. And there's also something that Mercy said. Mercy said, because I believe in you. But you have to believe in yourself as well. Because mine is to believe in you. And after the call, and remember, the Followers cast were one powerful, phenomenal cast, yani. I can't even explain into words. And that meant I really had to read the script to the T. And not just reading, not just toothpicking, yani bako na kuiguara. So I remember the first time I got the script on my hand, I called, one person I kept on calling all the time was Mugambi Ndiga. And Mugambi Ndiga, thank you so much. This is another person who really believes I'm a good director. And I take it. And so we could talk about how the day was, what's the new thing I brought in into set, what am I seeing, and how it was. And before that, I'd already done a lot of, now, when you're being told you're stepping in as a director, you have to do a background research and a background check of so many things. And I also had just to tell myself, I don't have to have all the answers. And one thing that really unshackled me was, as the rehearsal went by, I began to understand and realize most of the brilliant ideas will not come from me as the director. It will come from the actors. And it's okay, because remember, I'm with a star-studded cast. They know they know their craft, they know what they're doing. And when you tell somebody you have to move from point A to point B to point C, there are those questions. Why am I moving? Why am I the Utahagens questions? And you're like, oh yeah, I didn't see it that way. Now I see it this way. And so I had placed the rehearsal space being really a place of collaboration. And it was really a place of collaboration and a lot of vulnerability as well. Because there are days, honestly speaking, I'm one person who I fight imposter syndrome like this. Like, I know sometimes it doesn't show, but hey, imposter syndrome. Ni kama nilikuwa ninaidirect pia hapa kando. But one thing I came to learn also as the rehearsals went by was, the more I did the background work, the more I did the work, the imposter syndrome voice began to kutulia kidogo. And sometimes I could really do a whole, like, even the wall in my house, it had a lot of sticky notes. And so I could say point A, point B, point C, point Evo. Honestly speaking, usiku ime make sense. Usiku ili make sense. The next day unaenda rehearsal, I make sense. But I thank God for the cast that we had. They were very good. The questions that we talked about, and even our nature of rehearsals, it was from a point of learning from each other, which was the best thing to ever happen. So yeah. So how did I break down the script and how did I communicate the vision to the cast and crew? When I got the script, goosebumps. Honey, people are so gifted in writing out here. Uni and Mercy, wow. The script was so beautiful. And now you look at the script and you're like, oh, God, this is what I'm going to direct. Alafu hata kunitia maji tena zaidi when I saw now the poster with my name. It's outside. Director Agnes Kola. Yo. Guys, Mimi, I won't lie. Me, imposter syndrome cripples me so many times. But I just told myself, I'm going to do it shaking. I'm going to do it crying. I'm going to do it not wanting to do it, but I'll do it. But also the fact that I had a very beautiful backing from the production, from Joy, our producer. Love to you, girl. Thank you so much. Gloria, our admin, thank you so much. Uni Moabe, the owner, the CEO of Faithful Production, you really treated us with so much care. So breaking down of script, I thank God I have a very beautiful, strong background. As an assistant director, we have to break down scripts. So toothpicking and breaking down the script was okay. But now making it seen was another thing. Here we are talking about the temple of Herod's temple. And we all know how Herod's temple was. And if you don't know, let me just break it down. So it was one of the biggest temples ever built. So we had the outer temple, the outer court, the Holy of Holies. And not everyone was allowed in these levels. Women were only allowed at the outer court. And then we had the outer court. That's where now we had the lame people wanted to be healed were put there. and then kwa the inner court, hapa ndo penye tuko na the priest and all the sacrifices used to be done there, and now the holies where, you know, used to get in. And so it reached a point I needed to stop seeing a stage and start to sing the temple. So I did a lot of research, and for me the research that I did was I did a lot of Googling, a lot of just seeing, and then I came to learn through the experience of me being a director, I think in pictures. So I went into Gemini Notebook LM to just see what I needed to see. And you see how a stage is divided. So tukikuwa pale kwa stage, let me now take you pole pole. Tukikuwa pale kwa stage, we have the upper stage and we have the down stage. So down stage ni hapa huku mbele penye unonaga watu sana sana, then upper stage ni huko nyuma. But now remember, my story had outer court, and the whole of scene 1 was happening in the outer court. So the outer court, I decided it's going to happen at the apron. So apron is the distance between the first row na stage. Si kuna kwaga na hiyo space. Now that's why we call the apron. And you have to also be very keen on what you're putting at the apron, what you're putting, remember the levels, what you're putting at the apron, what you're putting at the inner court, and what you're putting at the Holy of Holies. So for the apron, for the outer court, sorry, because this is where women were allowed. And my approach for direction was collaboration, and which really helped. Because for somebody like Faiz, will just send a voice note and say, oh yeah, mino napa kwa Barabas, mbona si rap? And he rapped, you know, it was so beautiful to see, to even see all the women on stage. Honestly speaking, we all did a good job. It's not an eye job. I don't know even how much I can repeat saying this, but breaking down the script entailed me reading. I had to read. And because the Herod's temple is a very big temple, also that meant how can I show the massiveness of this temple? And so I decided, and I asked guys, what do you feel? How do you feel if our main door ikwe pale juu? So that we immerse the audience into the outer court, because the outer court, anyone can be at the outer court until that point where Anna comes in and tells people, get out, they are coming. And now it stopped being an immersion to now just a normal theater. So yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot in terms of also directing in beats. And directing in beats mean the turning point. What's the turning point? How does it affect you? How does it affect the person that you're with? And you know, these are the questions that we ask in theater, the Utahajens questions. Why am I here? What am I doing? How is this character affecting me? So there was a lot of that, and also there was a lot of consultation with Mugambi on the side as well, because I wanted to understand. Sometimes you go on you go for the rehearsals, you feel prepared, but unafika pale vitu zina potea. But it does not mean that you are not prepared. But also I just want to thank God for the grace they extended to me over and over again. Honestly speaking, there are days I felt like quitting. And it's not quitting because of anyone. It's just quitting because of the voice in my head telling me, you can't do this. I remember just telling myself, I miss me breathing in full, because I was just breathing in halves. A lot of things were at stake. Fifth Wall production, this was their first production. You can't afford kuangusha hivyo mbogi. But yeah. So it took a lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of consultation, and a lot of openness in communication. There are days we could go to rehearsals and we just sit and talk about the script. We talk about Why is Anna doing this? Why is Mama Simon doing this? Why is Claudia doing this? And also, the biggest question that I had was, why are the women in the temple and they're not supposed to be in the temple? So how are they going to act amongst themselves? And also what's happening outside at the same time with this thing that is happening inside the temple. So yeah, a lot of writing, a lot of questions to be asked and answered happened, and I'm glad that process happened. Yes. So something that went wrong, it didn't really go wrong, but I think I was so much in my head. I remember the first time, directing, that means you have to give clarity to both cast and crew. And so I remember when I had our first meeting with crew, and everyone is asking me, so Kola, how do you see the stage? Mtu wa lighting ananiuliza, how do you see the lighting? Mtu wa sound ananiuliza, mtu wa My response was nasikia kupupu. That was my response. I kid you not. Because I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? But again, crew, thank you so much. They were there with me through it all. So there was a lot of communication amongst ourselves. And one of the things that almost set us aback was the venue that we had, school was still in session. So that meant we cannot really have our dress rehearsal. So technically, our dress rehearsal happened to be our first opening night day. And of course, it did something like, kuna ile nitwaje? Kuna ile kupanic. Sometimes I ask myself, did I give the right direction? And I had a lot of those. Did I mbona move? Ama hange move? I had a lot of those. And but one thing that really helped us, we moved as a team. We moved as one people. And something with theater, your last week of the show, you leave everything to the stage manager and tech director. There's something Masikoi loves saying, the director dreams it, and me as a stage manager, I make it happen. And so for you to, honestly speaking, leave your project to the hands of the stage manager, you really have to have a lot of clarity in your communication, how you communicate, how you say things, So I think for us, our crisis was the venue towards the end. And my crisis ilikuwa pia nafikiria niko na time. Alafu naangalia calendar, yo. Show in 2 weeks time. Show is in 1 week's time. So there was also that. So there was just pressure mounting from everywhere. Oh, this is gonna work, or this is not gonna work, but honestly speaking, we really had a very beautiful, good team from both cast and crew. Hey, the unity was superb. Yes. So for the opening night experience, I remember I was sat somewhere huko juu kwa audience, and my heart just kept on pacing and turning, and I was in prayer all through by the way. I was like, hey God, you mean people have come to see what we've done? And for me also, it was a moment of just sitting down and just saying, oh my God, Kola, ebu look at yourself, from saying, can I do this, to now people are in the auditorium really seated, seeing what you have done, and you have done with your people collectively together. It was such a humbling experience. But now, as a director, when you sit in the audience, because you know how the story is supposed to go, how lighting inafaa kuharmonize hapo ndani nini, then kama kuna ka delay or setback, you're like, oh my God. And then sometimes you wonder, Kuna places we anticipate the audience are going to check her, they're going to have a reaction, and then sometimes they don't do both, or they have the two reactions in different places, and you're like, okay, we didn't realize this place was, but opening night was good. Again, I repeat by saying that was our first dress rehearsal. And I saw a lot of unity, a lot of beautiful group work, and people being there for each other. It was so beautiful. And for me, I anticipated a good show. And a good show is what we had. And my hope was for people to go home happy. And it's funny, sometimes, when you do your opening show, you're able to see hapa panafaa tightening, hapa panafaa nini. So also as a director, coming to learn that even with the shows, you need to give your corrections here and here. So just telling maybe an actor, hapa kuna venye kulidrag, so nataka ukaze. Hapa kuna venye kulidrag, nataka ukaze. Hapa inafaa kwa this, So yeah, opening night was beautiful. I sat in the audience with a lot of honest inside of me. I was like, oh my, I can't believe this is happening, because it actually happened. Remember, it's the same caller who said, I'm afraid. It's the same caller who said, I'm going to do it shaking, I'm going to do it crying, I'm going to do it, but we did it. So yeah. I'm a believer of kindness can coexist with professionalism. And I have worked with these people in different sets, in different positions and all. These are people who know what they're doing. And so it's all about communication. How do you communicate? Of course, we are not same people, so our ideas cannot be same. But how can you address something and still not sound rude? Imagine it's very possible. Because this is how I always say it. We're going to spend a lot of time with each other on set, like a lot of time. And if I'm going to spend 70% time with you of my time and 30% at home, we just rather make the place harmonious, So for me, it's just all about communication. Oh, this didn't work. Oh, it didn't work because of this and this. So it's just all about communication. And I think that has really, really helped me. And also having emotional intelligence. What are you supposed to say where? You just don't talk. Like, you need to know what to say where. Not everything is to be said there and then. So that has really helped. And also just to make sure myself as a director, not to have a clique of my own. No, everyone is mine. We are all together. So for me, it has always been kindness in communication and kindness in whatever that I do. And I'm glad that in every production that I've worked in, it has been that. So yeah. The unsung heroes in a theater space, let me start by saying the social media and marketing team. Here, these people work from onset, from actually even from pre-production all the way to production, and even after production, and even to also they make the production stay afloat, more so when maybe we're going to have a rerun or something. So social media and marketing team, clock it. Another department is the stage management. These people are the funnel. Let me call them the funnel. They're the funnel. They bring every aspect together in a jar, and it makes sense. And I always feel sometimes we don't see them, but we see them. Other people that are unsung heroes on set are the stage hands. Oh, these people really run uko behind the scenes. Uko kwa kakati and uko nyuma, they really run. And we see them and we see what they do to us, and it's just so beautiful. Other people that are unsung heroes on set, ni nani nasahau wenye tunawaonaga. Yeah, the props guy. the props guy, amazing, amazing. So that's what I can say. My advice to the first time directors, I'll put myself also in the same bracket, and even as I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself. Do not live so much in your brain. Your brain will do you things. Your brain will tell you you're not enough. Your brain will tell you, uko sure. Your brain will always want to have an opportune moment with a secured environment, and it will never be like that. You just have to throw yourself in the deep and just say, I'm gonna cry doing it. I'll cry, but just do it. There's a word in law we say chaka chaka. Just start where you are, and trust to me, there's so many people who are ready to hold your hands. There's so many people who are ready to see you win as well. And I'll repeat what I was once told, that if everyone is believing in you, don't be the person who is not believing in yourself. You have to believe in yourself as well, because they have seen you, they've seen what you carry, they've seen what you have. And so you also have to believe in those words that they're saying, wewe ni mnoma, na wewe ni mnoma. And that wewe ni mnoma, I was once told by Ali Mwachuo when we did, when I was in Kenya Mass. Thank you, Sana, Ali Mwachuo. And it just takes people to believe in you, but also believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, and immerse yourself in places where you are going to, what's the word? You're going to grow. If it's about directing, right now we have a lot of places where you can just study and learn. Text somebody, tell them, hi, can I come to your set and just see what you're doing? Opportunity needs to get you moving, not standing. And I think that's what I can tell somebody who is listening to me. Opportunities need to get you moving, not standing, because you have to really be in spaces. And being in spaces sometimes it's just a moment of faith, of just asking, hi, can I come to your set and see what you're doing? Hi, can you hold my hands in this, and this? Mugambi held my hand so closely and so tight, and I'm super, super grateful for him. And so many other people have held my hands in this journey that I'm really grateful for. So if you're a first-time theater director, I'm also a first-time theater director. Tutakuwa mapro. So we just need to go on and on and on and on. I honestly wouldn't mind to direct another play, but also I've always wanted to be on Broadway. Guy. Tunasemaga the year is 2030. I'm on Broadway and I'm rehearsing Ghost the Musical. I picked up your shirt this morning. Hey, Lord, it will come. Yes, and because I dabble in both worlds of TV and theater, so yeah, directing it's now something I feel there's a very greater interest into it. And yeah, I want to say thank you to each and every person. Thank you to Fifth Wall Production for seeing me even before I saw myself, and thank you for the love, for the care that you guys gave me during the time. It was so beautiful. To the cast and crew, you guys have my whole heart. And to this gentleman who told me, Kola, you need to come and sit in front of the camera and talk. We have our director, who's none other than Ouz. And then we have our technical director, who's none other than Katule. And for now, we'll just call this a podcast with no name. I don't know if it's a podcast because I don't know where it's going. It's just here. It's just you and me talking. But along the way, Aki, I hate to be being the person who has selective amnesia, but I really want to say thank you to each and every person who have held my hands, who have come to my shows, my family. Something my dad did while we were performing in Nakuru. He took a leave for 1 week to just come and watch me perform. And every time I could tell him, Daddy, I have a show. And my dad will tell me, I'm sat at the back end, that's where I'm sat. I'm just waving at you and telling you, you're doing a good job, my daughter. Funny enough, even now, Mrs. Scholar, my sister, my love, she asks me, kwani leo gender rehearsal? Imagine. It's amazing to see. I'm honestly surrounded by love. I'm honestly surrounded by love. Like, I cannot stand and say I have never been supported. To all my friends, to all my families, to all the people who check up on me, to all the people who come to my shows, thank you so much. And I can't wait to sit again in front of the camera and say I have directed my second play. It will be an amazing journey to see, because why not? I'm in the journey of becoming. So yeah. Oh, and that might as well be the name of our podcast, The Journey of Becoming. But for now, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here at the podcast with no name.